I am so blessed and humbled by my friends that came here from Marshall, and the people that I met when I came here in January. There's one person in here that has known me a very long time, Lori Mackey, and but anyway, I'll just start first. I used to think the story was just me. Nobody else has lived anything like I have. And but I've learned from church, other people's testimonies, that there's a lot of us out there that have been hurting. And but I'll start by saying I was a military brat. I was born in Japan. Excuse me. I had a beautiful Christian mother. My grandpa that I never met, he was a pastor. And anyway, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start stuttering. We moved from there, from Japan, all over the place. I lived in North Charleston, South Carolina, blah, 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 all these places. I didn't know what abuse was going to be like until I was like 6. Before that, I was a very sick little girl. I was sick all the time, sort of like I am now as an old woman. But anyway, the one thing I remember, the first thing I remember about my father, I always thought they were old. But my mother was only 20 years older than me, my father 25. So my little brother had to have his tonsils out. We were living in Utah, and I wanted to stay up. So when my little brother got home, my father, he was sweeping in the dining room, and he goes, no. He cussed, and I still remember it. But he chased me around the dining room table with a broom because I didn't want to listen to him. Now that was mild compared to everything else. But anyway, we lived in California, and I think it was 1972, we had gone to Yosemite and Sequoia. My older brother didn't go, but we got home and our house had been burglarized. And I was wearing shorts and I was sitting on the floor, Indian style, and my mother, the military police were there. My mother pointed at me. That's the first time I felt shame. And anyway, some bad things happened. And by the time I was 13, I tried to kill myself the first time. 13 years old. And my father would beat my brothers. But with me, being his only daughter, he would talk to me and say the most horrible things. And so I didn't have good self-esteem or anything. And it was always a real sad place to be, sad place to go. I didn't want to go home. I loved my mother, but I didn't like what my father was putting her through. And so when I was 15, we moved to Missouri from California. And that's when I met Lori and them at Niagara. And I used to go, Niagara. I didn't like it. I didn't like it because growing up and being all these different places, it was too hick for me. But man, I tell you, those people in that town, I can appreciate now, but I didn't then. This place is magical. This place saved my life. But I ended up, I was gonna go to St. John's School of Nursing right out of graduation, but I decided I wanted to go back to California, so I found that way by joining the Navy. And oh gosh, I'm sorry. The one thing I cannot skip, I made it all the way through high school without ever giving myself away. And my parents even thought something was wrong with me because I didn't even want to kiss a date goodbye. But it's when I moved to Springfield with two of my friends that something happened. We went downstairs to these boys' apartment to party with them and drink a lot when I moved here because I did it to numb the feelings that I was having at home. But what happened, and it's very hard to share this, but this boy was blonde, and from that time on I didn't like blonde guys, but he hit me with he put acid in my drink. My friends went back upstairs and I found myself the next morning in his bed and sheets. If you women know what happens when you lose your virginity. It wasn't, what's the word? I did not give him permission for that or anything. But so that was my first trauma outside of family that I went through, and I ended up joining the Navy, like I said, and I was in Idaho, my second duty station after Okinawa, and I met the man that I loved, the only man that I really knew I loved, and I ended up getting pregnant with him, and I had my son in Hawaii. And but when my son was 9 months old, I came back to Missouri and I married my high school sweetheart. Brandon was 9 months old, and he came over to Hawaii, but he's from here, and he just felt like the diverse people and all that, and it wasn't comfortable, so he came back. And he came home for a little bit, and then he wanted to come back. And then again, it was only a month. So I was basically only married to him. I was married to him a year, but only with him 2 months. Mm-hmm. Now, we are still good friends, and he has a wonderful wife and a family and everything, and lives back here. But he left in '85 to come back here, and this is the one that really traumatized me. I was out on a date, and I was raped, and I got pregnant. My son Brandon was 2.5 years old. Well, I had an abortion, and I didn't know this fact. In 2016, I went back to Florida for an 8-week program to help with military sexual trauma, PTSD, and my friend that I was stationed with in Hawaii, she worked with the DAV there, and I shared with her that I tried to commit suicide. She goes, "Pam, you tried to commit suicide after the abortion." I didn't know that. I couldn't remember that. And that's just part of what the trauma does to you. Well, my way of handling trauma and everything has always been to self-medicate. Alcohol was my thing. The only time I did the drugs was when they were given to me without my consent. But then I had tried marijuana because my son smoked it for his epilepsy. But the thing is that for every anniversary of the date that I did that abortion, I would feel suicidal. And and then I would be reminded of the way my father was with me and the things that he said. And I'm not going to get into everything, because if it's ever happened to any of you, you could probably just guess what kind of things. But I thought I was going to just. So I had already gone through like 3 weeks, and I had more time left. And it was Labor Day 2016, and I found out that my son died back here. So I wasn't able to finish the program, and I flew back. My son had epilepsy, and he died of a grand mal seizure. But I was reminded when I was in 2006, I was working for an architect in Springfield, and working on getting an associate's degree in AutoCAD to go along with my interior design that I did in San Diego. And I let Brandon stay with me, but I told him no drugs in the house. And the second bedroom I had set up with my drafting table and all that kind of stuff, but then there was a twin bed in there that he was able to sleep on. But I came home because I worked during the day, and then I'd go to school at nighttime. Well, I came home and the front door was unlocked, and there was a whole bunch of clothes in the dryer, and I found marijuana in there, and I got really pissed off. And he came back, and I got into a screaming match, and I said, "You're out of here." And he looked like he was gonna kill me. He had such anger. His eyes were so brown that you could barely see his pupil. And he was yelling at me so much, and I had my little micro cassette in my pocket recording it, because I thought he was gonna come and kill me. Then I said the most awful thing. I told him, "I wish you were born." And then to have him die in 16, it's my fault. And Sandra invited me to Redemption several years ago, and that's when I saw Lori and West for the first time since the warehouse. But I loved it. I had Christ in my heart. I surrendered my life October of 2005. But I'm going to jump back. I was dating this younger guy in San Diego after I split up with my husband. And anyway, he got mad because I moved back here, and he wrote the nastiest. He sent me a box about that deep, and inside of it was all the knickknacks, cards, and stuff that I had given him. And he wrote the most horrible, nasty, filthy letter to me. Almost like going through my childhood again. So I was sitting out at my parents' on the deck, and I had a little tiny notebook, and I took the box, and I just took it to the burn barrel, and I lit it on fire, and I went back and sat on the deck. And this was September of 05, and I took a pen out, and I had a little tiny spiral thing, and I wrote a poem to it that day. This one goes, "Today I burned all my memories of you, and I watched as they went up in smoke. I shed no tears as I watched them burn, and while I watched them burn, as I'm sure you may have hoped, the evil things you said to me I will forgive, but I'll never forget. For you will never see me again. All I feel for you now is contempt." And that was September 05. And then it was October. Mom was still alive. I was going to the Nazarene church. And I don't know if any of you know Linda Roast. Can't remember. She walked up with me when I got saved. But see, the thing about that is, I wasn't doing life like I am at the well and redemption. It wasn't until I started going to redemption and to the well that I started really feeling the Spirit and everything. And it was last year when Jeremiah was here on the revival. Something that he had said one night really got me. And I'm really sorry, y'all. Bless you. But I'm doing so bad. Oh my gosh.
You're doing great. You got it.
I better. My father, the way he was, me growing up, I even found a little notebook, some poems that I wrote about him. Why was he like that to me? But I'm going to be jumping back decades. Graduation, they let us out 5 days early and to go look for work. I couldn't find anything. I went home. My dad and mom were there. I walked in and my father had my mother over the buffet like he was going to beat the hell out of her. And I just went crazy. And he got so mad at me that he chased me into the living room, knocked me down on the love seat, and was getting ready to pounce on my face. So I took my foot like this and I, kicked him off of me. Well, anyway, my little brother was outside with one of his friends, and we lived in the country. And my mother said, go to your room. And she was screaming. So I started down the hall to go to the room. My dad came up to me and he had me around the throat. He was choking me. I felt on my life leaving me. But I can see through blurriness, my mom was beating him on the back. The next thing I was on the ground. And I was worried what he was going to do to her again. So I ran outside. I told my brother, get in there and help her. And his friend, I said, get me out of here. And it was just like in a horror movie. And when you're trying to get away from a monster or whatever, and can't get the car started, and I'm freaking out because my dad is like murderous, And he finally got it started, went ripping down the dirt road, brought me in to Jackson Street, Debbie Jinks, and I stayed with her, till the day before my graduation, the night of my graduation, and I drove to the school. My little brother had my car. And he goes, oh my God, Mom, I'm so worried about you. So I had the key to my car and I just drove it down the back way. When I pulled up into the driveway, my mother came to the door and she was only 35 years old. No, 38. And anyway, I went to sit down with her at the dining table and I was telling her how much I hated my dad. She goes, this really, really hurt me. Don't talk about him like that. He's your father. And I'm like, when she said that to me, in my head, the way I've been thinking, is she's okay with what he did to me. And then I heard the back door open up and I just got, the hair in the back of my neck and everything. And he stands there at the door like that and he goes, Pamela, I'm so sorry. Oh, wow. My father never said sorry, never said I love you or anything. I just looked at him with hatred in my eyes. I didn't accept it because I knew he could say that 1 second and then 2 hours next, eating or whatever. I never trusted him. So that's one of the reasons I did go in the Navy as well. But, where was I? No,
the well.
Yes, the well, and then the one time I was able to go on the street reach. Oh my gosh, they said, you're gonna go out there and you guys are all gonna bless somebody. That. Yeah, me, I felt so blessed by the people that I met. And I wanted to do it more, but I hate it that I'm not physically able. Not everybody knows what's going on with this health of mine. But it was so good, it saved my life. But then it was, my pulmonary doctor a couple weeks ago, and my new neighbor, why aren't you with a man or whatever? And because of the things that happened to me and all that, I didn't want to put myself there again and have it happen again. And I was always wondering, the perfect man, not going to say it yet though, till I started going to the well and finding that relationships work when you are equally yoked. Now, I went to church with my mother and I listened. I even went to the well in the beginning and I was listening, but I never heard a word. And it just, Brendan's mother, when I was upset, she'd go, read your Bible. I couldn't even understand the Bible. I mean, I could read. I'm a good reader, a good writer, and all that kind of stuff. But it felt like I was just reading the same thing over and over again. It wasn't clicking. And then, I should have done my outline because I was married to the nice guy back here, and then I got married to my kid's father in 88, and that poor guy, because of all my stuff, I didn't want to do my wifely duty, and I even told him to go having an affair, and I'm really screwed up. I'm a really screwed up person. After my daughter was born, I tried to kill myself again. So that's 13. The abortion, Amanda, but I didn't count all these other ones either. But I hadn't told everybody that I tried to grind up a whole bunch of medication, put it in a shake or something, drink it, nothing happened. But it was, these women know me, they know what I've been going through. A couple years ago, on the anniversary of Brandon's death, I went and got some alcohol and I was drinking it, just getting crazy loopy and sad and depressed, and then I was having issues with Daniel and Amanda weren't talking to me and I didn't know what was going on. It was him. He was the one that was making me think my kids hated me and all that other kinds of things. And so New Year's Eve 2024, I tried to do it again. This time I almost succeeded. I had taken so much medicine. I was laying on my bed and I could feel myself. I was having like little seizures and stuff. And the girls from the Redemption were trying to get a hold of me. They couldn't reach me. And suddenly I sat up, and it was the Lord. The Lord did it. He stuck his finger down the back of my throat and made me throw all that up. Okay, he did that, but then I was so weak and everything from the medicine that I fell out of my bed and I hit my nightstand, which had I had this table thing pulled out. I landed on it with my face, and it went back. I was beat to hell. I cut, black eyes, and then my little friend JJ and her little boy came, and I couldn't even walk. I had to get on my knees, and it was like the coldest night, January 1st, 2nd, and I didn't even have them come in. She was pregnant, and there's Dominic.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't think. I didn't know where I was. But she just couldn't believe what my face looked like. Now, that was January 2024, and then I kept continuing to go to church and to redemption and life groups. But in my head, I kept thinking about what I did to that baby, my son being gone, what my father did to me, blah, 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 all this stuff. It was just beating the hell out of me. And I'm really sorry. It was I knew that I was, I don't know if it's so much lonely, because I'm afraid of relationships, the intimacy part of it. I have no problem talking to people. I love it. But the hands-on kind of thing, I can't do that. And I knew that I would like to have somebody in my life, another Christian or something, but I don't know. So I don't know if I'm if it's Satan that wants that, wants me to be alone. Now I'm having problems with my hand. I can't do anything, open up doors or anything. But I started thinking after I you guys, I am terribly sorry. I have a killer headache and stuff. The thing is that my first husband, if I was in my right mind, I should have known that he was a perfect person. No, he is. He's such a good person, good family. He's so blessed right now. He's got it all, and my parents really liked him a lot too. And then my other husband, he was really good too. But it was me. Anything that was supposed to be good for me, I always sabotaged it. You're not good enough. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve love. You're not a lovable person. And so like I said, this New Year's 24, I did that. I just wanted to stop hurting. I just wanted the noise to stop. I just wanted to stop hearing that I'm no good. Just imagine I wanted it all to go away. I wanted to go be with my son, my mom, and then November 2024, that's when it happened. It was at Redemption. I heard a really good message. And I came home that night, and I was sitting in the middle of my bed. I raised my hands to the ceiling, and I said, God, please take this from me. I can't do this anymore. I can't, every minute of the day, all I have are these memories. Please help me. And the very next day, Saturday morning, I woke up. I did not have those thoughts anymore. I didn't think. Thank you. I didn't dwell on the memories anymore. I didn't think of the things my father said. And he died on his 80th birthday, June 24th, 2015. He would be 90 this month. And this January, I just forgave him.
Amen.
That's a big deal.
But I honestly, my son Daniel, he's not a Christian, neither is Amanda. But I have been talking to them. My daughter and my son hears it in my voice, my story, the way I talk now. They know I've changed. My daughter's so thrilled, but I still haven't been able to make it back there to visit. But the thing is I told them, you don't believe, but you know who I was. And the one thing also, a couple of Sundays ago, a classmate of mine died, so I went to the funeral. I saw people, classmates from when I was in high school. And I thought about how I have nobody here now if I were to die. And when I saw those people at his funeral, I was thinking, they only remember me from high school. When I'd go there and I'd be in such a pissy mood and angry all the time. And I mean, I even looked in the annual, my senior annual, it says, Yearbook, thank you. What was I saying? Annual is the same thing, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe well. But anyway, it says in there, Pamela Riordan, Groucho Pam, will be starring at the Holiday Inn because Groucho Mark was a comedian, and the way that I would try to help myself from the sadness and all that is by making jokes and stuff. And it's so true. If you see someone that all they do is tells jokes and smile all the time, usually those are the ones that are the saddest. It's so true. And I started writing poems and all that. And I'd written them about what mask am I going to wear today when I step outside the door. Long ones, but what I came to realize is that from listening to other women, men too, that have gone through similar things like that, I always pay attention to little kids, and I can always tell when they have such a good life. And it makes me really sad when I see a sad kid, because I'm thinking, oh my God, is this kid going through what I went through? And I'm real sensitive to people's sadness, happiness, everything. And I just wish there was something. I want God to use me because I was feeling so like all I'm doing on this earth is taking up space. I need to serve. I need to do something. And but when I start talking about relationships and stuff, I always thought, where's the perfect man, the equally yoked or whatever. And I wrote something, July 4th, 2006. You find it, I pretty much know it, but I'm sorry I didn't. I am so sorry, you guys.
You're good.
I felt like it was just gonna. Here it is. Okay. It seems I spent my life in search of the perfect man for me, one who would take me into his arms and love me unconditionally. But I'm afraid some of the choices I've made throughout this life of mine haven't always turned out to be the right ones, the truly loving kind. Sometimes I felt I needed someone to make my life complete. Then I realized that all along, their words were nothing but deceit. Then I drive myself crazy thinking they were nothing but a fraud. And then I realized that all along, the perfect man is God.
Amen.
And I just want to say to anybody that's not a believer, but I realize I believe everybody here is, that if I can change and find the Lord, and He's talking to me, He's listening to me, and I'm praising Him, and so happy that I'm alive today. I want to live so that I can help others who might be going through that again. I just asked God to give me one more day, because I thought that I tried to kill myself so many times that maybe one day He's going to say, okay, come home, but this is when I want to be here. I want one more day. I want one more day. And